Landing the interview is hard enough. Let me give you a 10-step easy process that will help you prepare for your first video interview. Hey everyone, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is JK. I'm a current recruiting manager with over a decade worth of experience helping individuals just like you build brighter careers. And today I want to give you a 10-step process that has helped me and dozens of other individuals not only prepare for the video interview, but give them a peace of mind before they actually go in to their interview. So I'm hoping that this will be very beneficial and very practical for you today. I'm going to go through these one by one, and if you stick around to the end, then I will have a bonus tip for you. And as always, please hit that subscribe button. It helps this channel every time you do. Tip number one is to have the right light. You're like, dude, come on, are you serious? Yes. Natural light is best. If you can have an actual video light, that would be awesome, but just having a good light, preferably around room temperature, not glaring through the screen as you are in the video interview would be best. Making sure it's not too dark or too dim, that's a big mistake. So having a nice natural light would be best. That's tip number one, and most people just move right on along before they even get to that. Tip number two is to have a proper camera. Again, if you've got a web camera, that's awesome for a video interview. Most up-to-date Macs or computers have like a 1080p face cam, which is great. But if you've got an older computer or if your camera's cracked, then I would suggest getting a camera, positioning it up at your face, preferably a little bit higher so that way you can look into it, but your camera is also important. And then your action list is tip number three, and this is going to have multiple sub points here, but you actually want to have an action list the night before you go to your actual video interview, which could be in your bedroom or across town, wherever it might be, or if you're traveling. So actually have a list on your phone. That would be very helpful, and that's what I do and encourage other people to do. That's tip number three here. Tip number four is very, very important here, and that is programming. So you want to know what video program your interview is going to be on. This could be if it's Zoom, Teams, Google Meets, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you have downloaded the program and that you are familiar with how to log on to it, because the last thing you want to do is to get everything ready. You're on the video interview, you're ready to sign in, and you've got to download the app or it doesn't sync with some of your security, and so you show up late, you're stressed. Just make sure that you're aware of the right type of program that they are wanting you to meet on and familiarize yourself with that program as well. The next one here is your place. If you are at your house, make sure the place is quiet, make sure there's not a lot of background noise. If you're in your dorm room or in a public area, make sure that you've got a quiet place that you feel relaxed in and that you can focus so that you can be attentive to the actual interview there. The next tip here is make sure that you have the right posture. You don't want to be slouching in your chair, or believe it or not, I've had a couple people interview from their bed, in their actual bed. Don't do that. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Make sure that you're looking into the camera. Make sure your body language is good. Personally, if I'm honest, this is something that I have to consciously work on here. So you can give me some feedback, leave it in the comments, what I need to prepare or to focus on. The next point here is to make sure that you have a power source. There has been so many times where I've talked to individuals, was that 100? No, there's been a dozen or so times where I have talked to people where they've got everything, they're in the middle of the interview, then they forgot their charger, and so they annoyingly have to say, hey, sorry, I gotta go look for my charger, I'll be back in a second. It disrupts the flow of everything. But just make sure that you bring your charger, especially if you're going to a remote environment, because the last thing you want to do, it's like the third last thing I've said. Another last thing that you want to avoid is make sure that your computer doesn't die on you. That is the next point, is make sure that you have the right power source. Tip number 8 here is that you want to have the profile pulled up. What I mean by this is your job profile. You're in a video interview and they're asking you questions about the job and you're like, oh, I don't remember that point, or I'm not sure. Or they might ask you a question like, what about this job are you interested in? Or why did you apply for this specific job? Just make sure that you have the actual profile, the job profile pulled up. I prefer it actually to be printed out or on a separate screen so that you can focus actually looking into your camera. It's kind of annoying and you can see your eyes averting if you are looking at your actual notes you're like looking down like this, and then you're looking up at the camera, then you're looking down, then looking up. It can just be distracting. So your profile on a separate screen or print it out. Tip number 9 here is that you want to have your personal resume ready to send over to the actual hiring manager that you're interviewing with. They should have it ready, and it should be in their inbox. They should have it pulled up, but you'd be surprised in a video interview how many times that a hiring manager would say, hey, I'm not sure if I got the right interview or the most up-to-date interview. Can you just send that over for me? So it's just nice to have that ready to be sent over and to have it pulled up for you as well. That way that you can talk to it. Again, I like it printed out here. I know this is like 3 or 4 pages of paper, forgive me for the trees here, but have it printed out. It just keeps it simple, even in a video interview. But again, you could put it on a separate screen as well. Tip number 10 here is that you want to have a pad. You're like, dude, what? A pad? You want to have a separate notepad, a Word document, whatever, to take notes and to refer back to your research that you've done for the job. This is where you can have company research, the job, questions that you have about the job, the company, and then the hiring manager's names. Those are very important. It shows professionalism as you're like looking down and taking notes. It shows that you're being attentive as you're actually like writing and taking notes as well. So that's tip number 10, is to make sure that you've got a notepad to record your specific notes. And then the bonus tip here is that you want to make sure that you go potty before you actually go and sit down for your interview, especially if this is a long 1 hour. Honestly, I've had times where this is like a group interview or panel interview where it could be multiple hours. Make sure that you go and potty, because if you're having to go to the bathroom, let's be honest, and you can't really focus, you can't really sit still, it's just best if you just, again, use the restroom before. That's the bonus tip here. This is all how to prepare for your actual interview before you go into the interview. If you're looking for more specific tips on how to ace your interview once it actually starts, then stick around for another video on how to ace your video interview. Thank you.